What's up? What's up? You hear me okay?
Yes.
Very good, very good. A couple more minutes and we'll get started. Michael, let me check, see if I got screen share. Let's see if you can share your screen, Mike. Will it allow you? Think I, oh yeah, you good. All right, you can go ahead and close it down. I'll tee you up here in a minute.
My bad. I'm over here talking up a storm, and I was muted. Didn't even know.
You're all good. Yeah, a few more minutes. Well, no, really one more minute and we'll get started. Give some of my late people chance to come in. BP time, BP time, you know how we do it. That's not how we do it as millionaires. We likes to be on time. So with that being said, let's see, we got 7 people on. I don't want nobody to miss your stuff, Mike. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and then I'm gonna bring you in the middle. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with
Sounds good.
what I got. So welcome to Deep Dive Thursdays. This is an opportunity for us to look into what's really going on day to day in the real estate market. I got a few things I want to share with you. We're going to go through 2 properties that I got up. We'll review the Madison property, take everybody through the before and after videos. Then we'll do the Ballot property, the before and after videos also. And so let's just get started here. So let's talk about. Let's see, I'm sharing. Yeah, let's talk about this month. What I did with Juice Properties. All rents were collected on time. Had a few major expenses that came in. We replaced a countertop over on Northeast 17. Had a electrical upgrade I had to do on my Fairchild property. A little Norman repair door over there, and then I had 2 annual insurances that I pay. So I don't pay my insurance on a monthly basis. I pay my insurance on my properties on an annual basis. So, but when I do my cash flows, I break it down for the monthlies. Let's do the Madison property real quick, and then we're gonna. I think I'm gonna let Michael go up. So let's review the Madison property. Um, Here were the major repairs that I had over there. Some of you guys have been over there and have seen that property. Remember also that I got three options that I was considering right now. I do have it on the market so that I can do the 1031 exchange if I sell it. We had it on the market, I believe, for 129, 119. It's down to 109 now, so we had it on the market for a month. I've got a few people that have come through, looked at it. Again, remember I told you guys it's a little high for that area, but I'm just trying to see where the market is. At the end of the day, if I don't sell it here in the next week or two, I'm just going to put it up for rent. I think I can get 800, 850. I'm going to push 900. That's probably pushing it in that area, but I think I can really get 800 out of it. So I'm not going to go through all that detail. Let's just show you the beginning. Let's go to the beginning, first video. This is, so this is Madison when we started. Hold on here. Hold on, I had this figured out right before y'all came. Okay, there it is. Madison 2. Well, I said I had it figured out, right? Hold on. We may skip this and I'll come back to it. All right. Had it figured out. Don't have it figured out right now, so I'll come back to that. So at this point, I've got one of my millionaires on board, Michael Emery. He's going to share with you guys a little bit something that he's doing that's a little bit different. So I like to give people an opportunity. There's different things on real estate, right? So it's just not one play. I like to buy and hold. I like to do the bird strategy. I mean, you can do flipping, you can do wholesale, and a lot of different things. Michael's got a little bit different spin that I wanted you guys to hear. He's been at it for a little bit, and so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Michael and let him share with you the project that he has and what he's doing. Michael, you're up.
Oh, man, hold on now.
You had it up just a minute ago.
Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go.
All right.
All right, sorry about that. I could not find the Zoom window. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Can everybody hear me and or see me?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Great. Okay. All right, guys. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Michael Emery. Currently, I am the co-partner of Emery Family Holdings, LLP.
Man,
my partner.
In that picture, man. I like that.
Hey, you like that? You like that?
Nice marketing.
You like that? Listen. Hey, you know, you got to do what you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so my co-partner is actually my aunt, Penny Emery. We've been at this together probably since the top of the year. So with that being said, allow me to reintroduce myself to those of you who do not know me. I'm a proud graduate of Oklahoma State University and Fudan University in Shanghai, China. I finished all that up in December of 2018 is when the credits came through and I could claim it. I am a proud initiate of the oldest, the coldest Black collegiate fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. Joined. I was initiated. Exactly. That sounds like my frat. I was initiated spring 19. I recently got my real estate agent license in June of this year. I'm an investor. It feels really weird to call myself that, but you gotta say it with your chest. I'm an investor. I'm a supply chain analyst currently working in the aerospace industry. I love to work out. I love to run. There's nobody on earth who loves wings as much as me. And last but not least, I'm a follower of Christ. So let's see, we're a little bit out of order, but back to the business, what everybody's actually interested in. So just to give a quick overview of our business model. So we decided to do short-term rentals, anywhere from a minimum of a month to 6 to 8 weeks, specifically targeting traveling medical professionals, mainly traveling nurses using furnished housing. So just to give a little bit of background, going to this image here, I think life kind of goes through a process if you're trying to self-educate yourself, and that's the breakdown, where you usually go through some type of experience, your enlightenment, where you reach some type of new understanding, and then the journey, and then it all kind of like repeats itself. That's how you grow. You break down and then you build back up. So I'm just gonna kind of go through my personal background. 2018, I was actually in the process to interview for a company in China. I was studying abroad in China. I spent my last semester over there, and I went to 6 different interviews with the same company and didn't get a job because they could not get me the work visa in time. That was a pretty big disappointment because at that time I did not have a plan B. I came down back to the States and was able to get on with the same company I had interned with. But in February of 2019, I was actually laid off from that job. So at this point, I didn't really know what my next steps were. I really hadn't had a true passion this whole time. That's why I was really disappointed that I couldn't make international business work. So, at this point, I'm broke and I'm jobless. I didn't really have much to do but job search. And my mom had got me Rich Dad, Poor Dad sometime before. And I finally decided to read it. And, kind of here we are. I spent the next year and a half or so just learning real estate and trying to surround myself with as much knowledge and as much people who knew more than me to kind of learn the game so I could play the game. There we go. So what's the story? Why did we choose traveling nurses? So like anything, or like most things in business, a lot of the successful things are made because they're a solution to a problem. Our particular problem was that my uncle, this is my uncle's house. He passed away in June of last year, and in the process, we acquired the house, but it was just having a real tough time selling. Like it was on the market for like 7 months, very few showings, and it just wasn't getting very much traction. Around the time when he passed away, we were initially trying to figure out what to do with the house. I was like, a few months into studying real estate, and I knew like, okay, renting is good. You can get some money. So I was like, hey, why don't we rent the house? And it wasn't a good idea at the time because the house wouldn't have rented for the amount it needed to in order to cover the mortgage and utilities and all that. So traditional renting was kind of out. And because I didn't have enough knowledge and background in real estate, I couldn't really provide a solution at the time. So back to the lab, just kind of, kept listening to podcasts, kept researching and everything. And come January, I'm sure it was some Bigger Pockets podcast or something I was listening to, but I had heard of the idea of traveling nurses. And so, um, my brain just started, working and gearing up. And I had figured out that we could integrate that idea with what we were doing in this house. The house is on 122nd in May. And so the location it's in is very good in relation to the hospitals in the area. You have Mercy, Baptist Integris, St. Anthony's, and it's in between Kilpatrick and 74. So it's and Broadway Extension. So it was just really good opportunity. And I'm also an opportunist. So looking at all of these benefits combined with the traveling nurse thing, really just came together. And on top of the fact that, we're in the middle of a pandemic, hospitals had to vacate a lot of their staff because, entire floors were closed down because of COVID. Now, a lot of them are using traveling nurses to kind of meet the demand that's come back as a result of things, I say settling down. They're not settling down, but, settling down. So that's kind of the gist of how we went about coming up with this idea. You see some pictures here. This is what it looks like currently. Well, not kind of currently because we have a tenant in there right now, but this is what it looked like right before tenant came in. We didn't have to do much. He had done a little bit of remodeling with the place. So there wasn't a lot of work to do. Again, I said I'm an opportunist. So this really all kind of worked in our favor. You see, he already had the fridge. He already had the stove, sink, washer and dryer in the bottom right there. He had master bedroom set. We really didn't have to do a whole bunch. All that living room furniture and stuff was there. If anything, we had to take out more than what we put in the house. So, and then kind of going into this next slide is what I'm already talking about. But all of these things really made it a good investment. So all of the things that we really had to provide to make it furnished was mainly just furniture. And you see in the bathrooms there's like some hotel-esque travel size toiletries and stuff like that. So things that made it very reminiscent of the Airbnb model is kind of what we were going for, because it's kind of halfway between Airbnb and a true rental. So these things really made it a really good opportunity for us, and more importantly, it solved the problem. We met the problem with the solution. And so some of the things that we needed to really make this happen was the marketing and getting tenants. Luckily for us, there was already a website and system set up. We did not reinvent the wheel. There's a whole website dedicated to providing furnished houses and rooms to traveling medical professionals by way of the website called Furnish Finder. So that was just Google, and found that it was not a very hard process to get verified. We also went ahead and spent, it was like $79 to become like a pro member, which is really just a check next to your name. And they handle all the marketing. They'll send you leads. People can see it, at any time. You can set your availability. They also have a Facebook group, really wonderful website. Another thing that we use is Cozy Property Management, primarily it's a third party, in case anybody doesn't know about Cozy, but it's a third party property management website that both you and your tenant can exchange, finances. Everybody can see, what's due, how much is due, and so on and so forth. Another one of the things that came really clutch was Wayfair. If you're not familiar with Wayfair, it's basically like an online furniture store, kind of like IKEA, but more difficult. Our biggest thing about doing this too was also making everything cost effective. So we weren't about to go to Ashley or Mathis Brothers. Well, we did, we tried, but after we saw the prices, we were like, nah. So we looked at Wayfair. We also used Big Lots just to get some stuff to put in the house. I'll go back to the pictures just so you can see. So this bottom right picture, all of that furniture was from Wayfair. I thought I had another guest bedroom picture up here. But yeah, so really we only had to do some bedroom sets. And even the pictures and stuff like that was from like Big Lots and, you know, Ross and stuff like that. We didn't really have to break the bank to do this. So those were some of the systems that were actually and are still very instrumental in our success in this. So you might be, you know, thinking like, what are some other costs and expenses? So I kind of, you know, mentioned some of the startup costs. It's not very expensive to get on to the Furnished Finder site. It's an annual fee, which I should have had listed, but I do not charge to my head, not my heart. It's a not a huge annual fee. It's basically like a subscription just to be on their website and, you know, use the facilitation of Furnished Finders. Our utilities come out to roughly 200 or so. We had to install a new security system. We used Vivint, which is a very amazing security system. Access through an app for both the tenant and the landlord. You have a direct feed to the doorbell camera, motion detectors. It's really amazing. Other than that, there weren't too many unexpected costs other than what I've mentioned. I should mention the mortgage. The mortgage on the house is around it's around $1,450. So a lot of houses in the area I mentioned before weren't necessarily renting for this amount. But with the stipend that medical professionals get, they can clear that. They can hurdle that. And with the benefit of getting an entire house to themselves, they'll pay it, and they're paying it now. So we got our first tenant on August after going through some not so good selections, and you know, we prayed on it and we got it. So we've had a tenant in since August 9th, and then they're out like the third week of September. But overall, I think that this was it was a very good solution to our particular problem, and it's very atypical. Another hurdle that we had in starting this up was that we knew nobody who was doing this. We had nobody in our real estate circles who knew anything about this or about the business model. So we're kind of, I'm not gonna say we're stumbling through, but I mean, we're not necessarily sprinting. So it's a really big learning process, but I definitely foresee it as something that we can build a solid portfolio on. With that, I'll open it up to questions, guys, if anybody has any.
All right, let's see what your questions are. What you got for Mike?
Hey, good brother. This brother Lampkin. What inspired you to get started?
What inspired me to get started? Well, primarily it was, I'll say it was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That really changed my mindset, because the concepts in the book are not necessarily hard to grasp, but it alters your way of thinking towards, you know, the investment mindset, and more so financial freedom, because you know, that's a lot of things that escapes us as a nation and also us as a people, in my opinion. So I began to start thinking about you know, real estate and how to build generational wealth. My biggest thing is I want to make sure that you know, my kids, my grandkids have something to stack onto, to build on top of. This is not something that we as a community have in large. So this is something that I want to start with my family. And as I went through this process and learned more and more, my grandfather, he actually started the brokerage that I'm a part of in 1967, owned multiple businesses, and basically did everything that I want to do in his lifetime. And at all the points where I could have had a conversation with him about it, my passion wasn't there. I didn't know that I was going to be involved in real estate. So I never had those type of conversations. And now that I'm in that mindset, it's like, man, you know, but I know that, you know, this is something that he'd be happy about. This is something that he wanted. And our logo for the brokerage is a torch. It's people handing off a torch. And I live that. I think, you know, my aunt, she is now the main managing broker of the brokerage he started. And, you know, in that process, like, she's passing down the real estate torch to me and the generational wealth torch to me. And I'm going to do my best to grow it and keep it going.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Any other questions for Michael?
Yes, sir. I have a question for you, Ken. I want to know, as far as when in choosing the person, or really, did you set up some kind of contract, or and was that of this year, or was that for, this has been a year so far?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the back half of your question. I know you mentioned the contract. What was the back half of your question?
Oh, just asking. So I was just make sure I was knowing what you were saying about when the tenant moved in. Was that in August of this year, or was that of last year?
So that was August of this year. That was literally this past month. So I'm very fresh.
Yeah. Okay. And on a good start, but yeah, I was just asking about as far as this, what was your procedures as far as the contract, and was there an deposit and, you know, information on that?
And that's a good question. So first and foremost, you know, you might be wondering about tenant screening. Furnished Finders requires all medical professionals to be screened and background checked before they're even allowed to start looking for homes on the website. Furthermore, Cozy Property Management requires a background check that they pay for. And so it's a two-tiered. So by the time they get to us, I mean, they got to be a sociopath if we think we got to, you know, triple background check them or whatever. But they've already gone through the ringer twice, so we can be fairly certain that, you know, at least they're not, you know, killers or something like that. As far as the contract, so we have personally a tenant agreement that we sent and had the tenant sign. We also had like a brief move-in checklist. It's not as extensive as a regular checklist because they're not staying for like a year or longer. And this tenant is only staying 6 weeks. So it's almost like we needed to abbreviate like actual processes to make it fit our model, if that makes sense. So, and the deposit was handled by Cozy too. Like I said, it's kind of the intermediary between us as far as finances are concerned. So we requested the deposit. We told them how much it was. We had a cleaning cost on there. All of that's listed for them to see. We have, you know, due date, and then they go in and pay it, and then Cozy pays us. So it does involve you linking your bank account and them linking their bank account.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So beyond falling in love with the numbers, what was it in a sense, for the raw emotion for you, in a sense of picking that one property and deciding to pull a trigger? I know prayer and faith is one part of it, but I mean, that serious part of, okay, I'm in love with the numbers. I think this property will work. What was that like for you in that sense of, okay, I'm going full-fledged into this. This is what I believe in, and pulling the trigger. I mean, how did that feel?
I think that's a two-tone thing for me. First and foremost, at some point you gotta get out of analysis paralysis and you gotta act. You can't steer a parked car, right? So even though I personally feel like it took me a long time to actually get started, the thing was, like, we just needed to start, and this presented an opportunity. I knew that I was going to have to be the driving force behind this because I was the one doing the research. Even if I didn't necessarily feel ready, I knew that I would have to be ready in order to make this work. And so that took me convincing, family. That took me, putting something together. So I think it was the, if not me, then who, first and foremost, that like really, pushed me. But also, my uncle, whose house this was, he was a nurse. He was a nurse for years. And so, like, it's kind of poetic that we're in turn opening up his house to house traveling nurses. So I think that's something that he wouldn't have had a problem with. I think that is something that he would actually be for. So, you're right, along with prayer, because we did have to pray. I think those were probably my main motivations. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think you're on mute, Mr. Ray. I think you're still on mute.
Hey, sorry about that. Michael, keep asking. We're going to keep answering questions. I'm going to stop your video feed, and I'm going to try to get mine up and running. But let's keep asking questions for mine. So if you'll stop yeah, there you go. See if I can get this going here. Yeah, any more questions for Michael?
Hi, Michael. I just wanted to congratulate you on your first property. Like, how many more houses are you expecting to purchase, maybe in an area or near a healthcare facility? Like, what's your goal?
First and foremost, thank you. I really appreciate that. I would say, first and foremost, our strategy right now revolves around paying off this initial property, and here's why. We have our rent set at $1,750 plus a $200 cleaning fee. If we are to pay off that house, I mean, you can kind of see from there the power that we would have in order to put that back into the business. We're looking at some stuff right now as far as other revenue streams, either by way of, I don't know how much I want to, no, I'm just kidding. But we're looking at possibly incorporating apartments into this model. There's still a little bit of research we have to do, but as far as how many houses, brick and mortar we're looking, I'd say within 5 to 7 years, I know we could solidly get 3 or more. I feel like that's pretty conservative. But like I said, a lot of our strategy is centered around the central house. And as we look at these other ways to increase our revenue, we're going to try to make those work together in order to fulfill this goal. And you guys are familiar with snowballing, paying off like a smaller debt so that you can increase your overall money that you have to pay off more and more and more. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. I really don't know if that answers your question because I feel like I rambled a lot. but I hope that it kind of did.
It did. You're good.
Any more questions for Michael? Righty. All right. Well, Michael, man, I tell you what, I'm excited and ecstatic. The business model that you guys have got going there, that's great. I like what you're doing. I like your enthusiasm. I like the fact that you're young, you're energetic, and you're getting in there and making things happen, man. Congratulations to you and the family. You're well on your way to becoming a minority real estate millionaire. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak. This is like the first time I've ever spoke to people about real estate. So thanks, guys, for not booing me off stage.
You did great. I like that presentation too. Outstanding. I'm gonna need to get that suit for my put it in my wardrobe, man. I like that.
You can have everything but the tie. The tie is official.
Oh, okay. Any other questions on anything else? I'm having I got to go back and work on this video deal, man. I tell you what, I had it figured out before we got on here, so I'll save it for next time. Any other questions or comments? I guess I can go back. Let me go back to this. Guess we can. No, we won't do that. Anyway, comments, questions, concerns. Next week, we'll be back on our Monday, back on our training. Last week we did education. We did wealth education. On Monday, we're going to be doing wealth acquisition. And we're going to be talking about, after you learn about real estate, after you understand what it's all about, now how do you start acquiring property and what should be your main focus? And so we're going to talk about how do we get in this accumulation phase where we're starting to accumulate wealth. And it's not just real estate wealth. I'll be talking about stocks, mutual funds, things like that, because even though I don't think those are the best investments, those are sometimes the only investments that are available through your job. So I want to talk a little bit about those things. So anybody got anything else we need to talk about? Also, we're going to be sending you some marketing material that we're going to be pushing. Our October start, our advanced class, and also our foundation class. I'd like for you to share that with your family and friends who might be interested in getting in real estate. So I'll be sending that out in the next few days. All right. Well, I promise you, I'm going to get this video thing fixed up. Lila's going to make sure I get it fixed up before next Thursday. So anybody else? All right. You guys been great. Michael, thanks again for sharing with us. And we look forward to hearing from our other millionaires, what you guys have going on. If you got some stuff going on, make sure you let me know so I can put you on so you can share with us so we can all grow together. Outstanding job. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Parameter equals